Today on Time We Discuss, I have Steve Gamlin here. Steve, thank you for joining me today.
Happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, Steve, you have quite a few things behind your name. You know, you're a keynote speaker, an author, a coach. You're the creator of the Vision Board Mastery Program, which, looking at your website, it kind of reminds me of like a personal gamification Kanban chart, maybe. Let's start with that. What exactly is this Vision Board Mastery Program?
Well, about 20 years ago, I first learned about visualization. I was putting my life back together from a very nasty couple of years, all self-induced. And I just heard about this concept of visualization through the DVD version of The Secret from some guy named John Assaraf, who I'd never heard of. And I was so fascinated by it that I started to do some research and realized so many people, when they talk about visualization or vision boards, they go, "Oh, I made a vision board once. A Lamborghini, a yacht, a mansion, a private jet, a helicopter, a big honking gold watch, and a bank vault full of gold bars and a basement full of pallets of cash." And I went, okay, there's nothing wrong with any of those things, by the way. But I started to hear and speak to and understand that so many people who do get things like that, and if they're only thinking materialistically, they're not necessarily happy and they're not really building all of the other areas of their lives. So I started to take a little more deep approach in working with a pretty common tool in personal development called the life wheel. The one I work with has 8 areas of life. And I thought, well, seeing as they're all working together 24/7, wouldn't it be a good idea to start setting goals for things like my physical health, my emotional well-being, the emotions I want to feel on a regular basis, my closest relationships, the core values that guide everything I do to make sure I stay above board, my faith and spirituality, my connection to people in real ways, as well as my work and my money. And once I started doing that, that's when my life really got put back together in a good way, understanding that all of these things are happening 24/7. And if you focus on one and really give it some good energy, all of the others can benefit from it as well. So that was the approach I started to take. And I created the program when people started to say, "Steve, you put your life back together so well. Can you teach me how to do it?" And I just went back to all my journals because I write down everything. And the whole program is essentially what I did to put my own life back together.
Wow, that's awesome. So, I love how you take that. And that's exactly what I thought about too. And I remember, you have I think they call them dream boards. I think where you have like the
Yeah.
Lamborghini and the big mansion and the gold bars, like you described.
Yep.
So I love how you took that concept and kind of elevated. You took it up to the next level and included all those other things. That's really really cool. When working with this, I'm going to call it a chart. When working with this, give an example of how one thing kind of affects the other. Like, so how does improving your health maybe also affect your finances or something like that? How's that all? Give me an example of how that works.
Yeah, you picked the perfect one because this is the one that I always talk about. If you start taking better care of your physical health, you eat better foods, maybe you cut down on some of the things that are not serving you very well, and you get enough sleep. Let's just say you do that. And then you wake up each day, you're going to be a little bit more focused. You're going to have better energy. When you have better energy and focus, when you go to work that day, whatever it is you do for work, you can be a little more laser focused and effective, and you can potentially get more done in less time. And when you do that, you can potentially earn more money. When you also do that with good core values and meaning you are going full on in your integrity, it creates better emotions. And you also get to have better connection with people and also operating in alliance or guided by your faith, whatever it is you choose to believe in. You're going in the right direction for the right reasons in the right way. And when you do that, you can potentially make more money. When you make more money, you can buy back some time and freedom and spend more time with the people in the closest relationships in your life. So just by taking better care of yourself, and I've proven this several times over, you can serve all of the other areas of your life in a better, more effective way.
Now, talking about accountability, I believe I saw that on your website as well. How does the accountability factor into that?
It's kind of a pairing. It's accountability and gratitude at the same time, meaning, and a lot of people say this, do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. And also surround yourself with the best people to guide you. I've got coaches and mentors who understand I'm a visionary, not an integrator. So I've got all these people who hold me accountable to my deadlines and my projects and all of these things. So having that, being accountable for everything you say you're going to do and all of the things that you're committed to doing, and then being grateful even for the littlest advances every single day to understand that you're climbing up that mountain. Because you're accountable, you have things to be grateful for. Because some of us, if we're left on our own, we will plan and replan and plan and spin our wheels and go do a load of laundry and go mow the lawn all throughout the day if we're not accountable to ourselves or those who we put in charge of keeping us accountable. And I have at least one of those people in my life at all times.
It's interesting talking about accountability and essentially procrastination, talking about mowing the lawn and doing the laundry and stuff like that. This is a theme that's come up several times with different people I've spoken with. So it's really interesting. Whenever I hear these things kind of come back, I always enjoy hearing that and how it's all interconnected. Now let's talk about a typical day for you, because like you're a coach. You have the vision board. What's a typical day like for you?
It all starts Monday through Friday at 5:05 a.m. And I got to give big credit to Mel Robbins for this. Mel is a speaker and a coach who I really, truly love and appreciate. 5:05 a.m., my alarm goes off. Now, my wife Tina bought me a clock that does not have a snooze button. So within 5 beeps, that alarm is turned off. And then in my head, I go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Both feet on the floor, stand up, lean back, kiss my wife Tina on the cheek, go into the bathroom, flick on the lights, give myself a huge high five and a big smile in the mirror. I am more awake and alert and ready to rock at 5:06 a.m. than many people are by their second cup of coffee. I get upstairs and I work out, I walk, I do core exercises, ab roller. I've got battle ropes, dumbbells, resistance bands. We got a Peloton cycle. So I do this probably 90 minutes a day, just going through that with some good rockin' music and positive podcasts in my head. And then I'll come upstairs. First thing I do is write in my gratitude journal my favorite 3 moments from the previous day, as specific and emotionally connected as possible, in less than a line each. Then I rewrite my top 10 goals, again, as emotionally connected as possible, in a notebook on my desk. And then it's down here to the recording studio doing Zoom calls, coaching calls with clients, which I absolutely love, and just looking for more connection out there and to add value for people, and tapping back into relationships with past clients to get back on their stages or to develop new stages and to network with people as well. So I'm part of several groups and associations and masterminds and organizations as well, to just keep my name out there and to stay plugged in and just see what I can do to add value for people.
I love that you get up, you give yourself a high five. Now, I can see a lot of people, they can visualize that, like, or visualize that themselves, getting up, doing everything that you just described, but maybe have a hard time believing that. How do you have that energy so early in the morning before the rest of us have had our 2 cups of coffee? How does that actually, how do you get that so invigorated that early?
A big, big part of it, and this is also part of Vision Board Mastery and everything I do, especially with my coaching clients. I know exactly why I need to get up and work out every day and take better care of myself. And when you have an emotionally connected why, basically that is keeping that spark alive inside you. And it's also, if you have a good, strong why for something, it keeps a pebble from becoming one of those big concrete Jersey barriers that, they put up on the highway so cars can't move over far enough. So from a little pebble, which stops a lot of people, I can jump over, I can go around, I can dig under almost anything that comes up and gets in my way. And my why for working out is, we lost my dad about 5.5 years ago. He was only 72 years old. And by his own admission, he could have taken better care of his physical health, but he didn't. And as my wife, Tina, and I are getting older, we're both 56 this year. When we're in our 70s and 80s, I want to be walking, holding hands on a beach with her, not going to an endless series of doctor's appointments because we made bad decisions in our 40s, 50s, and 60s. So every morning when that thing beeps, I go, we're walking on the beach. And I just get up, bounce out, and starts rocking. And when you've got that, you've really got something that can keep you going, and it quiets a lot of the other noise because it's more important to you. And some people say your why needs to make you cry, and that I don't agree with. It doesn't have to make you that upset, but if it fires you up and keeps you connected and gets you to do the more positive things versus falling back into old habits, you're on the right path.
That's awesome. I love that the analogy with fire. When I've spoken to several people, you find that thing that it lights you up on the inside, that gives you that internal motivation. And when you do that, it doesn't seem like work. And that's kind of like what you're saying. You wake up in the morning, you know what you have to do in the morning, you're geared up for it, you're energized, and the day just kind of takes you through. And it's good that you're recognizing your health. I'm sorry to hear about your father.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry for that. But on the plus
Thank you.
side, it's nice that it kind of gave some a different perspective into you and your own health. So talking about coaching, how did you actually get started with coaching?
It's funny. Speaking, coaching, and stand-up comedy, in addition to being a radio DJ, were all on my list of things I wanted to do when I was 11 years old. Now, I didn't know exactly what to call it then, but I wanted to be a radio DJ, a stand-up comic, an author of my own books, and a teacher of people, but not in a classroom. And after I blew my life up 22 years ago now, on a hot August afternoon in 2003, I had $3 left in my pocket, and I decided to take out my frustrations of blowing up my radio career in my first marriage out on a $3 bucket of golf balls at a local driving range. And I went to the farthest tee box on the property because I'm a horrible golfer. And I just was whacking the crap out of these golf balls. And a thunderstorm came through, and I realized I was under power lines, barefoot in the wet grass, holding the club up in the air, daring the lightning to hit me. And the next day, I was talking with my brand new life coach, and he asked, "How was your week?" And I just started laughing. I said, "Let me tell you what I did yesterday." And I told him that story. And when he stopped laughing, which is something as a coach you shouldn't do when your clients' lives really suck, he asked, "Have you ever thought of being a motivational speaker or a stand up comedian?" And within 2 weeks, I was at my first Toastmasters meeting and my first comedy class. That is the exact moment where it all started because I started adding humor into my own journey of putting my life back together and learning visualization and vision boards. And then all of a sudden, as I started to create success, other people asked me if I could have a conversation with them to help them out. So coaching just became organic. I didn't go to a coaching institute or anybody's program. I'm not certified in any way because it's the Wild West out there. And when people ask me what qualifies you, and sometimes they say it real snotty, what qualifies you to teach all this? Here in my recording studio, on one of the other walls is all completely barn board. I've got a chalkboard. And one day I got sick and tired of being asked and critiqued. So I wrote, "This guy lived it." And I drew an arrow and I put my head in front of the arrow and I took a selfie. And that's what qualifies me to do what I do the way that I do it.
I love that. It's such great stories. Great stories.
Thank you.
So, and that's kind of neat too. So let's dive into education, your background. You said you're not certified to be a coach. Let's talk about your education. How has your education, formal or otherwise, helped get you where you are? What kind of education opportunities have you had that you're using in your daily life now?
Yeah, I'm like a MacGyver as an entrepreneur. I did the 4-year college degree. I've got a Bachelor of Arts in Business, which I barely graduated. What my dad always used to say was summa cum this close. That was his favorite joke from my comedy days. It's been like MacGyver, a lot of popsicle sticks and duct tape. I was in Toastmasters, which helped me to perfect my storytelling and my effectiveness of using my physicality, my voice, and my gestures. I did stand-up comedy for 7 years, which allowed me to connect with people in a real genuine way and create moments. I was in the radio industry for 10 years, which helped me with my voice and all of the production work that I do. So it's all of these little tiny things and experiences over the years that have taught me so much. My family and I have what is now a 501c3 nonprofit called Beach Bum Philanthropy. For years, it was what I called our hippie giving mission. So that taught me so much about empathy and caring and kindness and just being in the moment with people and not necessarily doing it for reward or acknowledgement, but just leaving as many situations as I can better than I find them every single day, which is a lesson I learned by observing one of my grandfathers. So it's all of these little things. And there are so many people out there who've taught me so much, and they will never, ever even have a clue as to how much they've impacted my life. And I've been on over 300 podcasts all around the world, and I learn things even from these conversations. So you today are contributing to my path. So thank you.
No problem. I'm glad I can help. So when it comes to getting new clients, okay, now you've been doing this for a while. You're very well established, but I want you to go back to the start of it, the early days. What was that like trying to get new clientele? Did people kind of, snarkily say, "Oh, what do you do? Oh, you're a coach," like that kind of a thing. What was that starting process like for you?
Oh, there was a lot of that. A lot of people saying, "Who the heck would listen to you? You blew your life all to hell and you wrecked everything." And my answer was always, "Yeah, who better to help people out with theirs?" After I put mine back together, because I had all the notes and I had all the experiences and I had all the stories. And it is tough. In these days, oh my gosh, if you go on social media, the coaching industry gets such backlash from people. And, people will say, "Well, how can you change my life?" And I just look at them and say, "I can't." They're like, "Well, what kind of way is that to market yourself?" I'm like, "It's not. I'm just being open and honest. I don't know anything about you. I don't know if I can change your life. I don't know if you're going to do the work, but I tell you what, it's a heck of a ride." And you can ask any of my clients, my testimonials rock because the impact I've been able to have on the people that do choose to work with me, we stay together and we keep working together for quite a while. And I do one-on-one coaching, and we're also relaunching very soon a group coaching program, which is a lot of fun because that way people are bringing the energy, they're bringing the questions. We're rocking as a community, and I love that. I love being part of a community. And that's one of the things I love most about coaching is that aspect of it. And it can be hard to get rolling. Just like, that old graph where it's kind of flat line, a little bit, little bit, little bit, and then all of a sudden it goes. I know there's a name for the curve. I just can't recall the name of it. But that's what it was like before the pandemic caused a big hiccup, but now we're putting it all back together and getting back there again.
Now, are most of your clients at this point, do you see them mostly virtual? Do you see some in person? Is there a healthy mix? What does that typically look like for you?
It's all virtual these days. We live in a small town in the woods out in New Hampshire on a dead end street off another dead end street with really good Wi-Fi. So I talk to people all around the world.
Good. Anyone can do it. No real, no, from an educational standpoint, no restrictions. Location, no restrictions. That's awesome. Now, when it comes to, what kind of social things are there for you and the other coaches? Is there like, for lack of better words, like a user group for coaches that like you touch base once a month or anything like that? Does anything like that exist for you that you participate in or not so much?
Well, there is the ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. Me not being certified, I am not part of that organization, but there are several really good, reputable coaching communities on social media, and I'm plugged into a couple of those. And there are people who have been at it much longer than I have, people who are much more in depth than I've gone over the years. And there are also people who are brand new who I get to help. So I love to plug into those communities because we all speak the same language. And at least once a week, somebody will come in there going, "Oh my gosh, finally a safe place. Have you seen what everybody's saying about coaches out there?" And we all just shake our heads and say, "Yeah, but here we are adding value as best we can." And it takes a bit of a thick skin to survive doing this.
So, aside from a thick skin, this is a question I ask several times to several people I speak with. If someone has a particular attribute or deficit, for lack of better words, within their personality or their knowledge base, what's something that if someone is lacking, they should not pursue the world of coaching?
Oh gosh, anything to do with finances, anything to do with marketing or branding. Gosh, there's so many people out there. They have one little bit of success in their business. They dub themselves a coach, and then they go out there and recklessly promote themselves that they can help other people do that. Anything to do with therapy, psychotherapy, the trained professionals are required at all levels. I'm fortunately in something that's not that it's not regulated, but if somebody comes to me and I obviously see the signs that they should be speaking with somebody qualified to deal with certain inner wiring and challenge they may be having, we will not be working together until such a time that they do seek out somebody. So I'm
Steve, let
very,
me
very
interrupt you there for a
cautious.
second.
Yeah.
So, do you ever work in tandem with those professionals? Do they ever? There's, you recommend to go see someone for whatever, and then you still continue to work with them while they're working with the other professional. Does that ever happen?
I have had some situations like that in the past, and I highly encourage them to go take care of everything they need to take care of with that person. So I wouldn't necessarily want to work in tandem. I would want to make sure that they are in a much better place with their feet on a solid foundation to be able to do the work that we are doing.
That makes
And
sense.
and I've said a
Okay.
lot of times therapists go back, I go forward, and you can't do both at the same time. You can't go gas brake, gas brake, gas brake. That would not be a good outcome, in my opinion, and that's why I choose to say no until such time as they are ready.
Okay. Can you give us an example of someone that you worked with that they came to you with a specific obstacle in their path and you help them overcome it? Can you think of a specific example of a person and how that all worked out?
Yeah, one of my favorites is one of my clients. Her name is Lori, and Lori is living with major league ADHD, which great for creativity, but it's very difficult for her procrastination and staying focused on things. And she kept saying she was on module 3 in Vision Board Mastery for about 3 weeks. And I would check in with her. What module are you on? 4. You were on 4 last week. I know. I don't have time. So I said, okay, no problem. I'm not going to sit there and argue with her. So what I did, and this is what I love about being a visionary and a creative, I went and researched. I Googled, how long does the average American sit on the toilet every morning? The answer is 12 minutes. Now, the longest individual module in Vision Board Mastery is 11 minutes long. So I put together a message. I said, Lori, I understand you're very busy, but the average American sits on the can for 12 minutes every morning. The longest module of Vision Board Mastery is only 11 minutes. I'm not going to tell you to get off your butt. I'm going to tell you to get on it. Bring your tablet to the bathroom. You can bang out this whole program in 10 days. She thought that was the funniest thing. And the next day she went through module 4 and she sends me these little poop emojis every time she finished a module until she got to number 10. That was over a year ago, and we still talk about that. And whenever people talk about procrastination and ask her a question, she tells that story online. So that's my favorite, but I'm not a drill sergeant. I'm not a yeller. I'm not a Mad Libs coach where you just fill in the blanks. I roll up my sleeves to get down in the mud with people and we do the work together. And however I've got to stretch myself in any direction to help encourage them or help them to get the lesson, I will do that.
That's a hilarious story. No one else can see me while you're talking, but I'm losing it over here. It's awesome. Um, for you, so, and obviously this is going to vary from person to person, coach to coach. But what is like a healthy number of clients that you have that are, I'm going to say, active at one point in time for you? What does that typically look like? And by healthy, I mean like
Mm.
you're not overburdening yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I've kind of set a rule for this year that I would like to have no more than 6 one-on-one. And if I can get the group coaching back to 100 or so, that would be great. Because that way, when people come in with their questions, I've got the time. We have 2 calls per month. I can get enough attention out there. And I don't want to burn out. People talk about balance in their life, work-life balance. I don't necessarily want balance. I want integration. And that's the number I've set for myself that I think would allow me to be able to still do everything I love to do so much. Because I've burned out on things in the past. I have a very addictive personality. And I don't want to take on too much and then fall out of love with what I do because, and you said this earlier, and this is a pretty common phrase out there. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I disagree to the point to say it's worthwhile work. And I don't want to go above those numbers because I always want to be in love with what I do and the way I do it. And I've taken on too many responsibilities before, burned myself out. And the day that I don't enjoy what I'm doing now is going to be a very troubling day for me because I absolutely love what I do.
Steve, that's such an awesome perspective. I love that. I love that. Now's the part of the show. We are running a little short on time, so I do want to give you a couple minutes to talk about either your business more, a project you're working on, a cause you believe in, something like that. Whatever you'd like to discuss, the floor is yours.
Sounds great. And we've mentioned it a couple of times, and thank you for bringing it up. The Vision Board Mastery Program, essentially what it is, it's a handheld walk through the entire visualization process, and it explains so much more than the Vision Board starter kit that we discussed earlier. And people say, "Oh yeah, I went to a vision board party once." And I go, "Let me guess: wine, cheese, crackers, scissors, glitter, glue sticks, poster boards, and magazines." They go, "Yeah. How'd that work out for you?" Ah, it didn't. Great. 10 modules. You do not gather pictures in my program until module number 7. Everything else is internal work to determine where you are right now, where you'd like to be even 1 year from now. understanding the importance of developing a strong why, going wild with the greatest letter to Santa Claus you've ever written for all areas of your life, then gathering the pictures, assembling them in a way that makes sense, that they all are leveraged and connected with each other, and what you do beyond that. So it's a full on journey. And a lot of it was inspired by somebody one time telling me, I just don't see how vision boards are anything better than a fourth grade art project. that one, that one has stuck with me for about 14 years now. So that's a big part of why I created the Vision Board Mastery Program, just to help people to understand that it's a process. And there's a free video on the page at visionboardspecial.com, a free video called Visualize in 5 that gives people the very basics of how to understand the powers of visualization, and to even just get some basic knowledge is going to leave them in a better place. Absolutely free.
That's awesome. So I'll make sure I get that link from you. I'll put that in the show description, the show notes. It'll be on the website so people can find that and you when they're looking for you.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely, Steve. It's been absolutely awesome speaking with you. You're so entertaining. My face hurts from smiling and laughing so much. So it's been great speaking with you, and thank you for joining us today on Time We Discuss.
Absolute blast. Thank you so much.
Thanks for popping in the studio. My name is Dan, and this is Time We Discuss. I really enjoyed speaking with Steve today, and I hope you enjoyed the time too. Make sure you check the links in the description to learn more. If there's a profession that you want me to cover, add a comment, and I'll find that person for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That'll do it. See you next time on Time We Discuss.